And a very good evening to your good selves. Now, I was across at Liar Politicians channel. Let me, obviously stopping for YouTube's policies, occasionally, play you the following.
An initiative's been launched in Sweden to evolve the language so it's easier for migrants.
Think about what she's just said. Seriously. An initiative to change the Swedish language for the benefit of immigrants, migrants.
Vi är Sverige och så här låter vi.
Kompetens sitter inte i uttalet. Vi är Sverige.
Remember, I have to pause because I'm getting grief again.
Well, to discuss this further, we're joined by political commentator and radio host John Gaunt and Chief Executive of the Ramadan Foundation, Mohammed Shafiq. Thank you both for coming here.
Now remember, there is other things, because remember, these occultists play on many, many, many levels. Remember, order has to come out of chaos. What you're seeing is the rise of the far rights and the far lefts. Thesis, antithesis brings about synthesis. Okay? You can pick your picture, by the way. But let's continue.
Here on RT International now. Firstly, I have to ask you both, and we'll start with Mohammed, what do you think of the initiative?
I'm sorry for pausing, but believe me, I get grief otherwise.
Well, I think it's important when we get people coming into our countries that they learn the language of that country. So,
Yeah, fair enough. Can't disagree with that.
if you're in the United Kingdom, English is absolutely essential. And if you're in Sweden or France or whichever country, you've got to learn the language. If you want to get on, if you want to integrate, and you want to play a full part in a national life and progress yourself in your career and your family, help with school homework, all these issues are very, very important, and learning the language is absolutely essential. And
I can't disagree with what he said so far.
if there's a way in which organizations, the government, colleges, universities can use various initiatives to speed up the process of people to learn English, the language, in this case Swedish, then I think that's a very good thing.
Wait a minute. Did he just do some doublespeak there? Let's just go back a wee bit.
These issues are very, very important, and learning the language is absolutely essential.
Right, up until that point, I completely agree with what that guy's just said. And this is not the reason why I'm doing the video, is to pick on him or any individual here. Okay? Just to make that clear.
And if there's a way in which...
Here's where the doublespeak, I think, comes in.
Organizations, the government, colleges, universities can use various initiatives to speed up the process of people to learn English, the language, in this case Swedish, then I think that's a very good thing.
So there was the doublespeak, I think. Would you agree?
What about you, John? Because it's not just about learning the language, is it? They're talking...
Unbelievable. That was a classic case of doublespeak just there, wasn't it? Wow.
about evolving the language.
No, we shouldn't evolve the language. The language of the United Kingdom is English. People who want to come and live and work in our great tolerant country should learn to speak, read and write it. Same in Sweden as well. This is going down terribly with the people of Sweden.
Remember, have to stop this for the benefit of not getting grief.
And rightly so. Any immigrant who wants to come into the country should be able to read, write, as I say, and speak that language within 2 years. Otherwise, we should boot.
I don't know if I could do that in 2 years, but hey, I'm not necessarily disagreeing with them. I suppose I could make the effort, yeah.
Them out straight away. I mean, this idea that you should bend your language is always
It is insane, that. Yeah, I completely agree with them on that. Absolutely. But it's all part of the agenda. I've known about this for years and years and years, and no doubt many out there who are awake are the same.
Evolving anyway, the natural consequence of us developing. But
well, developing or devolving?
To actually bend over backwards and say, we'll change our language for these people to fit in. I'll tell you what, I'd rather they actually did fit in. I'd rather they actually understood the customs of Sweden and the traditions, because we've had some...
Don't disagree with that.
Terrible problems in Sweden and in Denmark and in Germany ever since...
And in many other countries, yes. In many other countries. And deliberate and by design to create your thesis, antithesis, to bring about synthesis. In many respects, these occultists are multifaceted, huge amounts of various intellect and skills. Kind of nasty, deep down though. But they are... There is many occasions that you will feel that they are one-trick ponies. You will come across this from time to time, where they use the same or similar trick that has served them well, shall we say, historically. Okay? But I don't never assume because you see things, or start to see things, where they are pretty much one-trick ponies. Just keep an open mind, okay? They can do that quite a lot and then surprise you in other ways. That's all I'm saying. I hope that makes some sense. Not an easy vid to make, believe me. And when you think of all these other YouTubers just standing in front of some pimped up car, getting vast amounts of hits, I'm sure there's a temptation for many. But unfortunately, with my YouTube, I do pick subjects of which I think is far more important for all of us. Believe me. But let's carry on.
Angela Merkel let in 1.2 million people who were alien and had an alien culture to the people of those countries. No, they should fit in. They should fit in or ship out, and Sweden should be...
Now, it goes on to say various other things, right? I don't have to play this all, believe me. I'll leave a link to it, obviously. And by the way, I'm sure most of you out there know, I wouldn't be interested in any far-right involvement or far-left involvement. As far as I'm concerned, any organisation is infiltrated, whether right from the start or at some point. But they're all bought and paid for. This is big, big time Shakespearean theatre to create order out of chaos. For those who are awake out there, you're well aware of what I'm talking about. But just once more, and there's a reason, because I'm going to go on to show you something. In fact, my comment was, and I'm sure the astroturfers who are observing me may try and attack that. Just remember how many years I've been at this, boys and girls. That's all I'm going to say on that one. This comes straight out of the movie Code 46. Many thanks for the upload. I will be doing a vid on this. But let me just play you this first little bit again.
An initiative's been launched in Sweden to evolve the language so it's easier for migrants.
I can promise you that supposed initiative will be going global. I promise you. Okay. But let me read you the plot out of the movie Code 46, done in 2003. I watched it when it came out. I'm sure I've done a vid or two about the very subject on previous channels that no longer exist. In the near future, the world is divided between those who live inside, in high-density cities, your Agenda 21, 2030, or whatever you want to call it these days, and the poor underclass. I would guess the ones who either refuse to have the chip or, well, for other reasons, didn't have the chip. Access to cities is highly restricted and regulated through the use of health documents. Translation, I would say, the RFID chip onto the skin. But in the storyline, it's known as PAPELs. In the global pidgin language of the day, composed of elements of English, Spanish, French, Arabic, Italian, Farsi, and Mandarin. And this, I would argue, I mean, honestly, there are so many films throughout movie history of which was externalizing very much about where this is all going. Because believe me, many of the directors, the writers, or, you know, whether it be Hollywood, the UK, name your country, many of them are well aware of what's going on. Many of them are up for it. I suspect one or two have got their doubts, believe me. So I'm hearing anyway. But anyway, let's continue. Most city residents venture outside only after dark, since direct sunlight is now considered hazardous to their health. I would say, look at the chemtrailing and how much that may or may not factor in. However, many residents still venture outside during the day. The government appears to be authoritarian and dystopian. Society is regulated by various codes. Do you see all that happening around you, boys and girls? The code of the movie title prohibits genetically incestuous reproduction, which may occur as a result of the various medical technologies which have become commonplace, such as cloning. Have you seen the papers lately? Or even over the last few years? Anyway, it goes on to say other things, and if you'd like, I'll leave you a link to that underneath this vid, and of course this underneath the vid, this madness. And as always, I look forward to your views, I look forward to your interesting links, and please bash that bell on my YouTube, and I'll speak to you soon.